Hey Gearheads, I'm Corey, and this is the 2022 Kia Forte GT. This thing has a 1.6 liter turbo 4 under the hood and an optional 6-speed manual transmission. At 201 horsepower, this thing might just be the Honda Civic Si fighter that no one saw coming. Hey Gearheads, do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you are notified every time we post a new video. And if you want to find out what we're driving before it is here on YouTube, find us on Facebook and Instagram, both at GT Garage Talk. And everything we do, including our award-winning podcast, can be found at gtgaragetalk.com. All right, so while you're looking at the Forte GT is exactly this right here, under the hood. It is Kia's 1.6 liter turbo GDI engine. This thing produces 201 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque, which is absolutely right in line with the competition from the Honda Civic Si. And let's give it just a little bit of a rev to see what that 1.6 turbo sounds like in this Forte GT. Not bad. It's not the best sounding engine I've ever heard in my life, but it does make this a very fun, compact car. My first introduction to Kia was in 1997 with my dad's Kia Sophia, and this ain't it. So you can tell that there's something special about this GT model just from looking here at the face of it. We have Kia's new corporate logo, and then you've got red for all the GT bits. So you've got red accent here in the grille, red accents down here, and plenty of functional inlets for air to get to that intercooler and the radiator. And while we're talking about functional vents, look right here. Yeah, that's right. You actually have an air curtain to pass air around the front of the car. It's actually quite nice. And this thing has baby Kia K5 styling from this little jagged line here that follows along with this brushed metal look up front. The styling on this is actually quite on point and a little more aggressive than that brand new 2022 Honda Civic. A little more angular, a little more angry, and a little more of a standout than what everybody is saying about the 22 Civic, in that it's just a little too tame. Why don't we hop inside, take a quick look around inside, and I'll tell you what I love so much in there. All right, so we talked about this being a Honda Civic Si fighter. I've got the Monroney right here. As it's optioned with the optional GT2 package, which adds $2,200, this thing is still cheaper than a base Civic Si. Sticker on this one is $26,685. And you get everything from that 1.6 turbo under the hood, the 18-inch wheels with those not so great Kumho tires. Let's face it, you're gonna need an upgrade there, aftermarket. This has a 7-speed dual clutch, but for an extra $1,000, you can get a proper 6-speed manual. We've got sport-tuned suspension, sport-tuned dual exhaust, LED headlights and taillights, the flat bottom GT steering wheel, which this is honestly the only leather in the entire car and feels quite nice. You've got perforated leather here on the 10-2 grips, your flappy paddles for your dual clutch transmission, and like I said, flat bottom. It's pretty nice. The seats that I'm sitting in here with the GT2 package, you get these bolstered Syntex synthetic leather seats that hold you in place quite well. They don't make you feel like claustrophobic. They're not hugging you, but they definitely do not let you slip and slide around, which is good for going around corners. You've got your proximity key here that allows you to get in and push button start the vehicle. And let's just face it, Kia has got some of the coolest key fobs with this detonator switch lock button. So huge kudos to Kia on that. The dash layout is wide and has everything you need here. You actually have analog gauges for your tach, your fuel, your temperature, and your speedometer, which I applaud, and this helper screen in the middle that gives you all the necessary information around you. You've got dual zone climate controls, you've got heated and cooled seats at a $27,000 price point. That is amazing. And then perhaps one of my favorite little tricks for interior packaging, iPhone 12 Pro Max will store and charge right here on the Qi wireless charger, and you still have all this area down here for storage. The interior packaging on this car is on point. But why don't we start it up and go for a little bit of a drive. All right, Gearheads, setting off in the 2022 Kia Forte GT. This is an economy car. It is a compact car, so it's not luxurious in here. You can definitely see where there was some cost cutting. There's rubber materials in a few places you wouldn't quite expect, but that's not why you're buying this car. Let me put it into sport drive mode and show you exactly why you would want this one. Yep, it's fun. 200 horsepower, you've got that dual clutch 7-speed transmission, and it's a fun little car. You buy this to have fun on the road for cheap, because as spec'd, this one with the GT2 package, which includes some luxuries in here like the Softex seats, the sunroof, this, that, and the other, comes in at $1,000 cheaper than a base Civic Si. So yes, there are some trade-offs. The Civic Si has that name, that recognition. It is the go-to car in the segment, but this is actually quite competitive. Like I said, we've got 3 drive modes in this. We've got normal, sport, and smart mode, which smart mode learns how you drive and adapts to your driving style, which for me would probably just be leaving it in sport, to be completely honest. We mentioned the 18-inch tires that come on this GT2 package, and they're not the best tires. If there was one performance gripe I would have on this vehicle right out the bat, it'd be those Kumho tires. They don't really grip all that well. You can tell when they're slipping, and that 201 horsepower going through those front wheels kind of leaves you wanting for a little bit more as far as traction goes. Other than that, this is a fun little car to toss around corners. It's fun to rev it. The dual clutch transmission, you don't really feel the shifts at all. And for what you're getting, $26K for a fun little weekend car that is practical with a usable back seat for kids and adults alike. And like I said, just enough bolstering to let you know that you're in something sporty. It's a fun vehicle. So one thing I really do like about this automatic transmission, because let's face it, I'm buying the 6-speed manual if I'm going Forte GT, but one of the good things about this dual clutch is the flappy paddles. You can slap it on over into sport mode, which automatically puts it in sport drive mode as well, or you can just be driving with it in full automatic and give it a little downshift. And it's fun. It is, like I said earlier, it is not the best sounding engine. It's a little tinny sounding. The exhaust could use a little bit of an upgrade too, but all in all, it's a fairly fun and compliant rig that we're going to toss into some corners here. Goes where you want it. It's no Civic Type R, that's for sure. But it's not really going after that Type R segment. It's going after the SI, the cheap, affordable, fun weekend car. And yeah, it's confident in the corners. It's not going to inspire you to do like triple digits or anything stupid. it's enough to put a smile on your face. We'll keep it that simple like that. But yeah. Oh yeah. It's a fun car. Yeah, I can already hear hitting some of these corners, those front tires screaming for mercy. The tires are definitely the downfall of this car. The engine is not. The transmission, though it is not as fun as a 6-speed manual, is still very fun and paired well with this engine. So I'm not going to knock it entirely, but a manual transmission absolutely would be more fun, being able to throw it through the gears as you go around these corners. And I'm trying to find something to really dislike about this. Kia has really stepped up their game. I mentioned earlier that I was introduced to the Kia brand with a 97 Kia Sophia with a 5-speed manual. There was nothing exciting about that car whatsoever. Love you, Dad, but your work car was just that. It was a work car. This is not my father's Kia at all. This actually does put a smile on my face and would have made me smile as a 16-year-old if this had been in the driveway. Heck, even at 35, it's a fun little rig that I'm not gonna lie. I kind of enjoy it. And at $26K, I know I keep bringing up the price, but this is a bargain of a fun little car. You'd be hard-pressed to find more smiles per dollar than this right here. So the interior on this is very reminiscent of the Stinger, which is Kia's performance vehicle, which sadly is coming to its demise with the 22 model year. The interior is very well laid out in this. Everything is clean, simple, where you would expect it. You've got a 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment here with wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I already mentioned the Qi wireless charging down here, which I think is perfect packaging. And you know, you've got these kind of jet turbine air conditioning vents, which I love. You've got very easy to read and recognize dual zone climate up here. Very simple to use. Buttons for what you would expect buttons for. Buttons for the heated and cool seats. That it's actually a little bit of a rocker, so you can choose between heated or cooled. That I actually like quite well. And it's a very smart interior. You're not going to get in this and need to learn how to drive this car. It's very easy to hop in, know where everything is, and go, which is a big perk in this price point because you want to sell a lot of these. And I think in the compact car market, while people are shedding cars left and right, I think this is a very competitive entry into that compact sedan market. All right, so we've spent the morning with the 2022 Kia Forte GT. And the real question is, would I buy one? Well, it's quite the compelling package. At just over $26,000 as spec'd, this one really has me considering upgrading my aging Econobox in my 2013 Chevy Cruze. As far as a daily driver goes, this thing's hard to beat. The interior's nice and well laid out, and as far as a performer, the 201 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque, 1.6 liter turbo 4 underneath this hood makes this a very fun vehicle to drive. Some downsides, well, it's not quite as sport-tuned in both the suspension and perhaps the performance as you would expect, but at a $1,000 price savings versus a base Civic Si, this thing is definitely worth a look. And it's got a little bit better and more aggressive styling than that new Civic as well. Should you buy it? That's up to you. But I firmly believe that you should check this out before putting anything down on anything in this class. Hey Gearheads, huge thanks to our friends here at Pelche Kia of Tyler for loaning us this vehicle to review today. You can find out more of their inventory by checking out the link in the description below.